Now, thousands of taxi drivers are expected to protest in central London today, with gridlock the most likely result. Similar demonstrations will also take place in a number of other major cities across Europe, and it's all because of a phone app. Our technology correspondent Tom Cheshire explains.
Spotting a taxi used to be obvious. Black, turns on a sixpence, with a driver often unafraid to share an opinion. But mobile apps like Uber and Halo have turned everyday cars into metered cabs you can hail. And that's why 10,000 London taxi drivers are today bringing gridlock to central London. Uber shows you where the nearest taxi is, and booking takes only a couple of taps. Crucially, the app also calculates the fare, something that black cab drivers say doesn't play by the regulations. For Victor, an Uber driver, the app is the future.
The time changed. They have so many years to get comfortable, but you cannot resist anymore because the technology is here. You cannot deny the support. It's just like when since we have computers, we are not making exams on paper.
Sky News can reveal that Uber is now offering to work with London taxi drivers.
We believe Uber is bringing another choice, both for consumers and for drivers. Today, in fact, we're opening up the app to add the iconic London black taxi into the Uber app. So our customers will be able to open the app, they'll see a fourth option down there on the bottom, and they'll be able to hail a London black cab to come and pick them up.
Only last month, the CEO of Uber said the taxi industry was evil and needed to be destroyed. So this new deal is a bit of a peace offering. It's not going to be one that cabbies take up, though.
Oh, where'd you like to go, mate?
Millbank, please.
Yeah, no problem. Hop in. I personally, and I know a lot of other taxi drivers, would not want to have anything to do or work with any form of private hire vehicles at all. That's what sets us apart, and that's what makes us the most popular, world-renowned taxi service. If you want competition, we love competition taxi drivers. We've been competing with minicabs for 50 years. There's no problem with competition, but if it's a level playing field.
Cabbies are determined to go nowhere, especially today. Tom Cheshire, Sky News.
Well, let's discuss this issue now. We're joined by Justin Peter, the Chief Executive of the minicab booking service Cabby, and we can also talk to London Cabby and spokesman for the Licensed Taxi Drivers Association, Steve McNamara. And Steve McNamara, I'm going to start with you. Explain to us, what is the problem with Uber?
We haven't got a problem with Uber. We haven't got a problem with Cabby or any of the minicab apps. We've got a problem with Transport for London not enforcing their own rules and regulations. Uber operates totally illegally in the UK. Their booking methods are taken through Holland to avoid tax. The way they calculate fares is in contravention of all the public hire and private hire acts. The simple fact is that Uber have pitched up in London with, depending upon who you listen to, $17 billion, $18 billion worth of finance. They're backed by Google, Amazon, government, Goldman Sachs, and basically TfL are frightened of them. TfL have allowed them to do exactly what they want. We've asked the mayor, we've met Boris and we've explained to him what's going on, and the simple fact is that rather than enforce the law, the safety laws that apply to Londoners and to keep them safe, he's chosen to side of a multi-million-pound conglomerate. Well, that's Boris's lookout. But this afternoon, the taxi industry in London will be making our feelings known. Incidentally, we've now all been threatened with arrest. I mean, I know that's a bit of a shock. Taxi drivers in London have been told we can't drive down Trafalgar Square and Whitehall this afternoon. Going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Uber's a side issue. This is all about regulation and what's safe for the public.
Well, yes, and I should say that Uber would say that they're not doing anything illegal at all. In fact, they have a licence. But Steve McNamara, is it simply a matter of you're just frightened of the competition?
Absolutely nothing could be further than the truth. As the driver said earlier, we've been competing with the minicab industry for 50 years. Uber are small fry compared to some of the big minicab firms in London, but the crucial difference between all the other minicab firms in London, and there's over 2,000 of them, they all abide by the law. They all follow, they all work completely legally and within the letter of the law. The Uber I've been told where they're going wrong. TfL know where they're going wrong. and TfL are frightened of them. TfL have allowed them to do what they're doing. The minicab industry, for the first time ever, agree with us totally. We've had offers of support on our demonstration today from the minicab industry. We certainly haven't taken them, but it just goes to show that it's not about Uber, it's not about apps, it's certainly not about technology. The taxi industry has been embracing that for 30 years. It's all about what's legal. TfL have licensed an illegal operator.
Well, that's your view.
They're operating outside of the UK to avoid paying tax and taking bookings in Holland. That is illegal, it's a fact.
Well, let's find out. We'll find out what Uber will say as well. Let's find out from Justin Peters from Cabby what you think of this. Now, Cabby has an app themselves, don't they, that offer a booking service for cabs. So what's your view on what's going on here?
Well, I should make it clear that Cabby is actually quite different to Uber. Uber is a fleet and Cabby aggregates fleets. We're currently working with 70 of London's best fleets, and it's an immediate price comparison booking and payment service for minicabs in London. We do agree with Steve to the extent that TfL haven't been consistent or clear. So there are laws out there which they've told minicab fleets, those that work with Cabby, as well as Cabby in fact, that we have to respect, and Uber have come along and they haven't followed all of those rules to the letter, as we understand. So they haven't been consistent with us or clear at all. And it does seem like the support for the incumbents hasn't really been there, with another organisation coming from offshore or abroad coming in and trying to enter the sector.
But Justin, doesn't it offer just more choice for consumers, and that's really what people want?
Yeah, absolutely. Consumers definitely want choice. So we don't have anything against Uber. They're a very successful cab service internationally. They've just joined London. They're providing a good service as far as I understand. And we've got nothing against that. We don't really have anything against what they're doing either. We think it's a bit of a red herring that the black taxis are striking against the meter side of things, because from what we understand, from our users at least, they don't like a meter. They prefer a fixed fare. And we're getting a lot of people switching from taxis and Uber to Cabby as a result of the fact that they can get confidence with a fixed fare when they book with Cabby.
What's your answer to that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the freedom of choice. People have got a choice in London. You can book a minicab, you can use a taxi, obviously the world's best taxi service, etc. But what it's about is all about safety and legality. What the gentleman just there from Cabby has told you is he's slightly more wary of TfL than I am, but I mean, he's agreeing with me as well. TfL have dropped a clanger here. The Mayor's made a mistake, TfL have made a mistake. Unfortunately, Londoners are suffering. There is a risk you could be in an uninsured vehicle. There is a risk that you could be at danger from somebody driving it who's uninsured. It's an outrageous situation. Transport for London need to act, and they need to act now.
Well, we'll find out what happens as far as Transport for London are concerned a little bit later on. But Justin, to what extent do you think that things are changing in London? I mean, the traditional black cab is what everybody knows, but to what extent is the choice now adapting and technology helping that choice?
I think it's helping massively. The fact that we can now link into the GPS data of all the vehicles that are out there, and Cabby's got access to around 10,000 different cars, means that we can collect passengers with the closest available car. So that cuts down on all of the dead mileage and time where drivers spent driving around waiting to pick someone up, and it means that people can be picked up much quicker these days. So instead of waiting 15 or 25 minutes, they can be picked up within 10 minutes. And that makes minicabs or taxis a much more viable transport option when people are in a rush. So it should actually enhance the sector, because drivers can earn more money, fleets can earn more money, and they can reinvest that into the sector, into their brands, their technology, their staff, their team, and their offices. So overall, it should be very, very good for the sector.
Well, Justin Peters and Steve McNamara, good to talk to both of you. Thanks very much indeed for your time today.